Vai,
Ngono karo Simon.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay, Bu.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know you are in the middle of something.
Yeah.
Do
First,
you think you can,
apologize.
yeah, no worries. Can you, do you think you can introduce me just for a while and then you can leave me alone?
All right. Yeah. Yeah. So, apa ini namanya ya? Crowded ya. Conditioning ke
Yeah,
situation.
yeah, yeah.
Baik, Ibu. All right. My laptop is used for this meeting, and I use another laptop. It doesn't work.
Okay,
Then I move to my mobile phone. All right.
okay.
Yeah. Is everyone here? Is everyone here? Hello?
How many of you all together, everyone? It is 16 of you.
Yeah, actually it must be around 19 or 20, Ibu.
Okay,
All right.
maybe they are still on the way, but we have to
Yeah.
start anyway.
All right, Ibu. Yeah, baik. Let me start. Let me open first the session, Ibu ya.
Yeah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Baik, I think everyone is in a mute position. Okay. Then first of all, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillah, Alhamdulillah. Thanks to Allah the Almighty who has given us this opportunity so that we can gather in this collaborative teaching on instructional design class ya with Ibu Profesor Luh Putu Artini, PhD. Welcome Ibu, and thank you for joining with us today in this very warm occasion. And here Ibu Profesor Luh Artini, PhD, will deliver the material related to reflective teaching and the 21st century learning. As we know that you are all teachers, hopefully by learning together collaboratively with Ibu Prof. Lufutu Artini, PhD, you can get lots of insights, you can have lots of inputs, and also you permitted to have discussion session with Ibu, yeah. And in this session, Ibu will be with you until around 3 p.m. in the West time, or in sorry ya Ibu ya, on 4 p.m. at Bali ya Ibu.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Nah, because the time is also, I mean, to be more effective or more efficiently, I will give this flow into Ibu, and I do apologize while having this session incompletely, and then later on I can try to rejoin again, but then I'm still be here, and I will mute my my Zoom meeting. And first of all, I would like to let Ibu know that most of my students here are elementary school teachers and junior high school teachers, and only two who teach at the senior high school. Okay, they are in the second semester. All right, Ibu, I would like to give this floor to you, and monggo.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ibu Rini. Thank you for the introduction. And yeah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selamat siang, selamat sore di Bali, selamat siang semuanya. Ya, good afternoon. And it is yeah, it's a great opportunity for me here. So thank you so much for the opportunity. So good to see you. Yeah, so good to see new faces, of course. And I hope I get to know you while we are studying together through this topic. So once in a while, we are going to stop and then we are going to have a discussion and I'll get to know you. I'll call out your name for your opinion. Yeah. Please stop me anytime you want. If you think that you need some clarification, or maybe because I speak too fast, or maybe I didn't make myself clear, I'm happy to be stopped. Okay, I'm happy to be stopped and to be asked for clarification. If there is no stop, I'm just going to go on. And then I'll stop whenever there is time for us to do discussion. So this course, this class is going to be interactive. So what I mean by interactive class is that to some point, yeah, when I get to a step or when I get to a particular segment, I'm going to ask for your opinion. So just get relaxed, yeah, because discussion is most likely to be related to your experience. I'm not going to ask you with questions that not really too content based, but this is more likely to be experience based. I know that from Ibu Rini that most of you are teachers already, maybe all of you are teachers. So we can expect that everybody have the experience of teaching. And then with the experience of teaching, when we talk about reflective teaching, so this is really about the daily practice in your class. Okay, maybe just a little bit about me. So I've been teaching in Undiksa since 1989. Yeah, maybe you were not born yet. Yeah, but since 1989. And my specialization is on English language teaching pedagogy. And in more specific way, I'm interested in curriculum development and also very interested in uh, teaching, teaching, especially foreign language teaching method and strategies. And I'm also interested in assessment. So that's my specialty. And then I'm going to start. Yeah. So first of all, because you are teachers, yeah, I'm going to probably ask you questions. Let me share the screen. Yeah. So this is our topic. And no matter, yeah, I don't know whether you have touched this because this is to do with pedagogy, but no matter if you have learned about this or not, it's not going to be difficult to follow. Yeah, because this is really about practical things. So reflective teaching. Oh, sorry, it's not in higher education. I forgot to, yeah, sorry. This is really, I was in a rush to put the title. It is not in higher education, but it's reflective teaching, yeah, in the 21st century learning. Okay, before we start, I just want to give you some introduction. Everybody already understand, yeah, that we are now in a very special era, yeah. With education, we are in a very special era. Why do we have to say that? Because, so, wait, I do a slideshow. Okay. Yeah. Why do we have to say that we are in a special era? Yeah, there are so many conditions that come into play in our education nowadays. First of all, there is a development of science and technology. Yeah, so this is not the era, yeah, it's no longer the era where students could only learn from the textbook. It's no longer the era where we can say to student, okay, student, now open your book on page 62, for example. Why? Because in the first development of science and technology, we have to be able to do adaptations. We have to do the adaptations. We have to do the adaptations because the development of science and technology is so fast. We have to keep up with that. We have to update our knowledge about the subject matter that we teach. And then also we have to use technology. So that's the challenge. And then the second one, yeah, globalization. So globalization means that the world's like becoming smaller. Yeah. And what you study now, yeah, what you study now is for something, yeah, is for something in the world. So no longer for something in your place, because the place is now being globalized. What I mean by globalized, the culture changes, the habit changes, the need changes, the requirement for teacher changes, yeah, the the ability to speak in English change. I mean the level of ability. Long time ago, whenever you can speak, use the bookish language. What I mean by bookish language or bookish English is English that you learn only from the book. So in the globalization world, sometimes what you learn from the book is not like what people use in the world. So with the era of globalization, you need to be able to know about cross-cultural understanding. You learn about that already. You need to learn about cross-cultural communication skill. You need to know also they are, different, different, not only culture, but also different, use of language according to context. Yeah, formal, non-formal, for example. And then another special things in the world nowadays that we are in the 21st century learning era, in which the requirement are also shifted. So from from teacher-centered learning, we are now in the era of student-centered learning. So in the student-centered learning, the teacher have the role as the facilitator. When we facilitate students, it's not to facilitate students to learn, but we have to facilitate the student also to develop their 21st century learning skills. We have to develop their creativity. We have to develop their critical thinking. We have to develop their collaborative learning skills. And we have also to develop their communication skill. And it is not enough. Yeah, it's not only the 4 C's, because you know the 4 C's already, yeah, I'm sure. But we also have to develop their readiness for their future career. So they have to have the career skills. Yeah, they have to have the global skills. They have to have the literacy in technology. So there are so many things that come into play that make us very, make the responsibility of an educator become very challenging. Yeah, it's a very, very challenging one. So what happened after that? What happened, because there are so many challenges? There have been a number of anticipation strategy. For example, curriculum change. You learn about the curriculum because it's instructional design course. And maybe you are very familiar what is meant by outcome-based curriculum. It is no longer only the competence-based curriculum, but it's more than that. It's outcome-based curriculum. So outcome-based curriculum is the curriculum that can see far away to the future. Yeah, the curriculum that can see forward, can see in the future. What is the world going to be in the future, and what's the student need at that time? Yeah, and then outcome-based curriculum make them ready for that change. And then the second one, the anticipation, is that you need to be able to conduct or to plan and implement effective teaching. So it's not only teaching, but it should be effective. And we are going to learn about that later. What is meant by effective teaching? Yeah. And then also, when you teach, it should be meaningful. So what is meant by meaningful? The student feel the importance of what they learn. The student feel the connection between what they learn inside of the classroom and the real life. So when there is an understanding of the connection between the classroom and the real life, that's what is meant by meaningful learning. So this is the challenge, and this is one of the reasons why we have to know and learn about reflective teaching. Before we are going any further with reflective teaching, I have this. Yeah, I want you to look at this and then try to mark yourself. Yeah, because you are a teacher already, or at least you have the experience of teaching. And then please mark yourself. Are you a teacher who are able to create a positive and pleasant class climate? Give your score 1 to 5. If you put 5, it means yes, absolutely, 100%. If you put 4, yes, likely, mostly. If 3, yes, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And then 2, not much. And 1, almost never. Yeah, almost never. Okay. Now, please give your mark. There are 5 statements able to create a positive and pleasant class climate, demonstrate the possession of an adequate teaching style and strategies, shows positive attitude toward your work as a teacher, yeah, and then able to set a good example, and then good communicator. Okay, it's time for you to mark this. Put in the chat, yeah, and then say number 1, 5, number 2, 5, number 3, 5, for example, yeah, in one line, just in one line, ya. Atau jangan pakai angka deh, A gitu ya, A1, B, A5, B5, C5 gitu. Coba, I just want to have a look. And put that in the chat box. Yeah, can you do it? 1 minute? Okay, quite a lot. Yeah, 4444. This is from, I put a number here.
From me, ma'am.
Okay, good. This is from Miss Ratna Irawati. 44445. So good communicator is 5, the rest is 4. Can you please explain a little bit, Miss Ratna, your comment?
Okay, thank you. For all, the 5 point or only the last one, ma'am?
Mm-hmm. Can you
All
talk
of
about,
them.
yeah, just,
Okay.
yeah, each of them, very briefly.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for the first one. Able to create a positive and pleasant class climate. I before start the class, I always make the pleasant atmosphere, and then I motivate my students so that they feel a comfort first, and then they have a motivation, and also they are excited to join my class. And then the second demonstrates the possession of an adequate teaching styles and strategies. I always think about my method, my style and strategies before I teach them. So I think I do appropriate style when I teach in the some subject. And then the third shows positive attitudes. I try to always give a good example for my students. So I try to show them the positive attitudes. And then able to set a good example. I also give a real example that relate to them, relate uh, with their logic. So I'm not telling about the theory, but also share with a simple example that relate with them. And then the last one, good communicator, confident speaker, good model for students. Actually, I teach in public speaking or master of ceremony training and center. So that's why I think that I am a good communicator because I teach them that way, like that, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, no wonder, yeah, because you said yourself as a good communicator because you teach for the master of ceremony things, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, yeah, that's a very good sharing. I want to listen from Nova. Yeah.
Yeah, hello.
B, you say 3 for demonstrate. Yeah, for the second one, position
Yeah.
of teaching style. Can I explain that a little bit?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mrs. Artini. Yeah. First of all, I'd like to thank God for all his blessings because, finally I can stay in here and I can meet you. This is the chance that I've been waiting for. I'm so happy. So I do welcome you, Mrs. Artini.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity for me to explain this. Let me start from the first one. The first is, able to create a positive and pleasant class climate. I think my mark is 4 because, in my class, I'm an English teacher of junior high school. I try to speak English 100% to my schools. You know that in my school, it consists of several levels of classes. The first level is, the first level, the second level, and the third one. For excellent classes, I always speak English 100%. So this makes my students be more interested, and it can, create a good class climate. That's the first. And then the second demonstrates the possession of an adequate teaching styles and strategies. I think, as a teacher, you have to be able to develop an interesting teaching style. So in my class, I try to use several models in teaching and learning activities so that my students are interested in joining my class. And then the third one shows.
But why did you put 3, your mark? Because
Yeah.
sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Really right. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. And I'm still not confident with this. I still need to learn a lot about that. So I put 3.
Okay.
And then number 3 shows positive attitudes. Yeah, I give 4. Yeah, my mark is 4, I think, not 5, because teacher is actually a role model. Teacher is actually a role model. So we have to speak to the students warmly. We have to behave well so that they can imitate what we do. Like what I've told you before, that we are actually role models. And then number 4, I think I give 5, able to set a good example. Why I give 5? Perhaps I think I'm so confident with this. Not really, because, in teaching, during teaching in the class, I always give examples to my students. For instance, I teach my students about a certain topic about passive voice. So I give them examples about passive voice, and I try to give the examples as clear as possible and as interesting as possible. So that's why I give 5. And then the last one, good communicator or confident speaker, good model for students. I try to communicate to my students as good as possible, as warm as possible, as friendly as possible. And I think I am the same as Ibu Ratna. I often become, master of ceremony in several agendas. So that's the reason why I give 5 for number 5. Thank you, Mrs. Artini.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, that's a very good reflection.
Thank you.
Did you realize that you are doing reflection actually? Yeah, but we are going to talk more about reflection later.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I just want to go to Miss Henny. Yeah, just wondering why you put 3. Yeah, score yourself with 3 also for the second one. Just answer for the second one, Miss Henny.
Mr. Henry.
Oh no, I can't see very clearly of the light. Yes, Mr. Henry. I thought Henny. Yeah, Mr. Harry, sorry about that.
No problem, Bu Antini. So I put 3 for demonstrate the possession of an educated teaching styles and strategies, because I'm not confident enough, since I was graduated from not teaching department, not teaching faculty. I'm graduated from English literature, so that I think I don't have, I think if I'm compared to teachers who are graduated from the faculty of teaching, my teaching style and strategies, I think it's not compared with them. So I realize about the, the limitation that I have. But
okay,
I try to create a positive and pleasant class climate whenever I teach. I always begin with something lighter, something light, something simple from a pep talk. Yeah, for example, I'm teaching in the 3rd grade of senior high school. Then if the material is about, for example, about application letter. Yeah, so I begin to teach by asking them about their aim, so that every student will say about their aim, what they want to be in the future. So and then I ask them how is their effort to get their dream. And then they will say they'll continue their study in the university, they'll go to this faculty, and then after I ask them, after they graduated from the university, what will they do? They will, apply for the job. Then I say about the material. Well, today is about application letter, and then I try to elicit their knowledge, their background knowledge about application letter, about the material. Who knows that they are well informed about application letter, so I don't have to to explain more about that. So principally, when I teach, I use my strategy that I I will go into their world. Yeah, what they think about their future is their world, and then I will take them smoothly into my world. Yeah, and then I'll bring my word. My word is the material. I think that's my strategy, Bu Artini. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah. It sounds that all are very humble here. Yeah. Because I heard that everybody being so good and experienced. Yeah. That's very good. Yeah. Well, I just want to go to one more here to uh, Mr. Hikmat. Yeah. I
Yes,
don't know how.
ma'am.
Yeah. How do you call? How do you usually, being called by your friend? Pak Hikmat
Uh,
or what? Pak Syahrini?
uh, Hikmatiar.
Yeah, Hikmat, yeah. Could you
Okay.
please, explain? Because it's very interesting. Everybody put the last one with 5 or 4, but you put the last one with 3. Yeah, you score yourself with 3. So that's why I just want to listen to your explanation on this.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity, Mrs. Artini. Okay. I would like to explain from the first one, able to create a positive and pleasant class climate. Okay, I give score 4 because I am elementary school teacher, English teacher. So I make all of my students before I start my lesson. I try to ask them to sing along with me, and then make some of make a fun atmosphere in the classroom. So the student would be interest in my lesson. So, and then demonstrate the positions uh, teaching style. Yeah. Well, when I teach in my class, uh, I I usually use technology. I mean like quizzes, and then several games, online games for educations for learning English. And then and also I bring a mysterious box. In the mysterious box, I put some things that related to the materials in the classroom. So I ask, what do I bring in my box? And then I show to them the things, and they what is it called? Menebak. They guess the things that I show to them, and they are really interested in my classroom. So then show positive attitude. I try to show how to be a good person, with showing to be a humble person, and I tell some stories that motivate them become a good person too. Then able to set a good examples. I try to give clear examples as easy as they can understand with my explanations, of course. Then the last, a good communicator, I give 3 because I'm not sure. I'm not confident to with my English skill, because yeah, sometimes that when I try to speak English, they just give me a response like what do you talking about, apa yang jadi so I try to, what
Who
is
do you
it
mean
called?
by they? Because they respond with what do you talk, what are you talking about? Who do you
Yeah,
mean by they?
the student, I mean the
Oh,
students. Yeah, the students, because yeah, maybe they don't understand, so I just give 50% English and 50%
Okay.
with
All right. Yeah,
Indonesian.
very
So,
humble. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. This is very good to listen from you. Yeah. And what you're doing, actually, you are doing a reflection. Yeah, I know you are honest about this. Yeah. But not really honest, but some of you probably too humble. You say that I give my communication skill score of 3 because I don't think that I speak very well, because sometimes my student asks me questions about what do you mean. So this is very humble. Yeah, what I mean by very humble, actually you can um, you know, the best, but probably the reasons why your student asks you, because probably the student, because they don't have enough English to understand your good English. Yeah, that's probably is. Well, thank you so much. This is just an example of, you know, how you divine reflections, but we are going to go into, you know, further into it later. So thank you for those who participate. I know that everybody wants to participate, but we have to move on to the next slide. Okay, the next one. Yeah, first of all, we have to understand, yeah, this is according to Brown and Atkins, 1990. Teaching profession is intellectually demanding. You have to be an intellectual person. You have to be smart, yeah. You have to be intelligent. You have to show your, you know, professionalism. You need to show your cognitive, you know, ability. So there are so many requirements to become a teacher, which relate to your intellectual, you know. So that's why it's intellectually demanding. And I know everybody, you are in the you know, master program, and everybody here have the high, you know, intellectually capable. And then the second one, socially challenging. Why socially challenging? Because in your everyday work, you deal with people, you deal with children, you deal with you know, a student of different age group. And you have to be able to communicate, you have to be able to interact, you have to be able to make yourself clear, you have to be able to put complicated things to become simple. Yeah, you have to make sure that they respond to your question, for example. So this is really challenging. Yeah, it is not like a manager of say, for example, a big company in which you just talk to, you know, limited number of people. But as a teacher, you have to deal with so many students that coming uh, every year with new faces, with new numbers, with new age, with new background knowledge, you know, with individual differences. There are so many things that you have to deal with. So we have to say that our profession as a teacher is really a noble, you know, I have to say it's a noble profession. Yeah. And this is according to Cooper. Yeah, according to Cooper, 1994, we as a teacher are social agents hired by the society to help facilitate the intellectual, personal, social development of those members of society who attend formal educations. Yeah, not formal higher education, formal education. Yeah, we are the social agent. It's like an agent who deal with people, and then we have to facilitate their intellectual development. We have to facilitate their intellectual development. We have to facilitate their personal development. We have to facilitate their social development. So personal development is not enough if you are very brilliant, yeah, with excellent cognitive ability, but you can't give good example. Yeah, you can't give good example to your student. It's no use, because you need to be able to give good example so that they can also develop their personal personal competence, that sort of thing. So that's the challenge. And then we as a teacher, as an educator, required to be creative, you know that. We need to be collaborative. We need to be courageous. Courageous means that we are ready to do anything, yeah, for the good things. Yeah, we are willing to do anything to help to help to facilitate the development of the student intellectuality, and also to develop their social competence, their personal competence, and we have to do the best we can. We are courageous in a way that we want to try to do something new, yeah, and we want to know more. We ask people if you don't understand, yeah. We come to an event, yeah, in which there is a sharing of something to do with teaching. So you're courageous and curious. You always want to know something. Yeah, it's not enough if you can just, can work on the daily basis to do the same again and again, but you're curious to know what's something new. Yeah, in terms of, for example, on the strategy. Yeah, probably in terms of strategy, or in terms of a new method, in terms of new media for teaching, in terms of new materials, yeah, and so forth. And you have to be compassionate. Yeah, you love your students. Yeah, there is a feeling, there is a bound. There is a bound feeling between you and your students. You're compassionate. You have yeah, loving, tender, and care. Yeah, so you have loving, tender, and care toward your students. And then connected, it means that you connected with your network, you connected to other people. Yeah, you connected to probably to website that teach you something new all the time, and committed to your work. Yeah, you when you are committed to your work, it means that you will put your work as the priority, the top priority. So you always want to do the best for your students, the best for education in general. And then you have the willingness to do continuous learning. And you are doing it now because you are doing the master program. This is an indication that you are this person. So you are the educator that required by the world. Why? Because you have shown yourself as a continuous learner, and you committed because you are here because you want to contribute to the quality of education. It is not cheap, yeah. It is very expensive to be here, but you do it because you committed, and so forth. And then educator is also required to be reflective. So this is the point that we are going to be focused on. I want to show you where is the position of reflective. That's one of the big requirement to become a teacher. So beside that, you have to be innovative. Everybody know that. Everybody need to be variative. It means that you don't want to do the same things again and again. You don't want to use the same media again and again. You don't want to use the same strategy again and again. So you always have a new variation. So you are variative. And then positive. You have a positive feeling about your job. You have positive feeling about your students. Always say positive words. Yeah, because when you say positive words, it's very motivating. You always see everything around you as positive things. And then active, yeah, active in so many ways. I don't think I need to explain this, but you understand. And then inspirative, you inspire the students. So it will give the student a wow impact. What is meant by a wow impact? When the student When the student come into your classroom, they will say, wow, I want to be like this teacher. Yeah, wow, I want to be like her. I want to be like him. I want to be like my teacher. So that's inspirative and then responsive. You have to be alert to the situations. You have to be alert to the problem. And then you are ready to respond to the situation. You are ready to respond to the query from the students or request from your students or the need of your student or the need of the curriculum. You are very responsive to the changes. You are very responsive to the need of the society. So this is about educator and the requirement. And I believe that it is not something new, but I have to show you this because I want to locate the position of reflections. I want to locate the position of reflective teaching. So being reflective is one of the requirements for becoming a professional educator. So why reflective teaching is important? So that's the next question. Why is it important then? When you are a reflective teacher, you actually demonstrate your ability for making professional judgment. So when you ask yourself questions, am I a good teacher? In answering that question, you don't just use your, the idea that coming from top of your head, but you will think deeply. Yeah, you will think deeply in answering the question, am I a good teacher? And then you are going, did I do right? Did I teach right? Did I plan okay? So that's show your ability for making professional judgment. Yeah. And then the second one, why is it important to be reflective? Because when you are reflective, you are actually having a vehicle for learning and professional development. So you are providing vehicle for learning. Sorry, not leaning. Sorry, that misspelled. For learning and professional development. Yeah, you provide a vehicle because doing reflection is actually using a vehicle for learning and professional development. And then why reflective? Why? The next answer to that question is, is to promote independent and integrity as an educator. So this is really to promote independence and integrity. So you don't need to wait until other people do something and you copycat. Yeah, you are not at a position of copying what other people do, not in the position of wait until other people do something and then do the same things. Yeah, but you are the person who grow up to become independent, yeah, and then have the integrity as an educator. And then also it is a reference for effective teaching, and I highlight effective teaching because this is a keyword that we are going to deal with later. Yeah, this is a reference. So when you do a reflections, what you're reflecting on and the result of your reflection will become a reference for effective teachings. And not only that, yeah, so it is also to enhance student learning, to contribute to the development of education quality in the country. So it's go up to the bigger levels, a bigger level. If you're doing it inside of the classroom, actually you are doing something for the country. Yeah, you can see the connection of something that probably seems to be small, yeah, but it is going to be part of the contribution to the country. Now we go on to effective teaching, because I said before, a reference for effective teaching. Reflective teaching is, yeah, when you become reflective, when you are a reflective teacher, and you do reflections, the result of your reflection will be the reference for you to do effective teaching. And these are the effective teaching. Effective teaching need consistent policy framework. What is meant by this? Yeah, when you do a reflection inside of your classroom, yeah, that's because there is a requirement. Yeah, it's not only, sometimes it's not only coming from yourself, because sometimes the situation doesn't allow you to do that whenever the policy doesn't support that. I give you an example. My student in Undixa, yeah, there are two groups of graduates as far as teaching are concerned here. The graduate from Undixa, there are two groups. One group, group one, they have they teach in the public schools or government schools. Other groups, they teach in international schools. What happened with that? In the international schools, they have a special policy in which every time after teaching, they have to fill in the journal. So the journal is a reflective journal. Yeah. The teacher will will write down about what they observe from their own teaching and put down their strengths and weaknesses of the teaching practice. And another group in public schools, they don't have that system. So the teacher didn't feel that they have to fill in a journal of reflection. They do need to fill in the journal, but the journal is not a pure reflective journal. And what happened with that? I can see that the students who work in international schools, they tend to be very creative, very innovative, have initiative, and then I have a lot of compliments from the management of the school. Yeah, I happened to come to an international school, and the school principal met me, and then he said, "We have quite a number of graduates from your university, and they did amazing job." Yeah, they did amazing job. And then when observation was conducted in public schools, I didn't hear any compliment from anyone. I didn't hear compliment from the school principal, from anyone. It's just going flat. Yeah. So when you are doing the effective teaching, it's to do with reflective teaching. It needs to be supported by policy framework. But the question is, when there is no policy framework in the school, do we still need to do reflection? I want to give this question to you. If there is no policy framework in a school, do we still need to do reflection? Can you answer that question, yes or no?
We don't need. No, of course not.
No, no.
No?
No.
You don't need to do reflection?
Yes.
Or perhaps we still need to do reflection by ourselves for our consciousness.
Yeah. Do we still need to do reflection? You go back to this. You see, educators need to be reflective. That's the requirement. Yeah. But probably you do it your own way, because there is no system, no framework, then you don't have a standardized way of doing it. But you still need to be reflective of your teaching. Yeah. You're going to understand later why. Yeah. Okay. Research-based. So effective teaching is research-based. What is meant by research-based? If you listen, I mean, if you see the word research, what is in your mind? Tell me. What is research in your mind?
Can I answer, Miss?
Yes, of course you can.
Research is actually when we want to explore something, we want to dig something. I mean, a specific problem, and then we try to solve the problems. So we do a research.
Okay, thank you, Nova. Yeah, anyone else? You want to say something, Ibu Ratna? Yes, please.
Okay. Actually, I'm agree with Mr. Nova. When we are a teacher, we have to looking for. We have to be able to solve every problem. So we can do a research for the problem. I think
Yes.
like that.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Ratna. Yes, research is not only about, producing a research report and then finally have a publication out of that, and you have to have the grant. It's not only about that, but research is, when you do it very seriously by, for example, observing your class, because you want to know something, yeah, and because you want to know something, then you do an observation to your class, or you do a lot of reading on a particular things that you want to know. That's a research. Yeah. So effective teaching is research based here by listening to other people experience. Yeah. Looking at or observing what happening in your classroom, and then learn from what happened in the classroom. Or maybe you listen to a presentation from other people, or maybe you read different references. Yeah, to be effective, it is not only coming from what's inside your mind. It's not something in your brain, but research-based is learning from your surrounding, learning from what happened every day in your classroom, and then conclude that you need to do something. That's a research-based. Or reading, or listen from other people's experience. Yeah. So to be effective is not necessarily only from what's in your mind only. What I do, and what educators usually do, including you, whether you realize or not, you observe your student when you teach, and then you can have a feeling of, for example, satisfaction after teaching. Yeah, because if you feel that there is a great satisfaction, it means that you did well. But if you feel that something is going wrong, and then decided to do in a different way the following day or the following week, it means that you did a research already. Yeah. So the research is really a reflection. So you do it seriously, and then after that you conclude what happened. So when, for example, in your teaching you feel something is going wrong, and then finally you sit down and think about what you can do after that to make it better, then actually you have done a research. Yeah. So it's a research basis, really. You learn about it in a different way. Yeah, you have your own strategy of doing that. And then promote active engagement. So effective teaching is promoting engagement. So when you do effective teaching, you will be able to see your students are very actively engaged. If your teaching is effective, your students are fully engaged in learning. Yeah. So I'm talking about engagement in learning, because sometimes there are teachers, who are good teachers, but not effective teacher. What I mean by this, the teacher loved by the student because he's very humorous. He likes to tell jokes from the beginning to the end of the class. The student love a lot in the classroom, but not really learning to achieve the curriculum objective. So that's good because the student like him, but not effective because the objective is not achieved. Can you understand that? Yeah. So whenever you are effective teacher, you can expect your students are actively engaged. And then the next one, effective teaching needs appropriate assessment. Yeah. So when you teach your own way, for example, you want your student to work on a project, you have to adjust your assessment. Yeah, you have to adjust your assessment, not only to assess the product or the project, but you also have to assess the process. When they are in the process of making the project, you probably see the effort, the enthusiasm, the participation, the team working, yeah, and so forth. So you have to adjust your assessment. Effective teaching need appropriate assessment. And then effective teaching requires systematic teaching and learning. So in effective teaching, you can be expected to have a very good plan step by step. So you have a very clear segment of your teaching. You already fully ready, yeah, with what you're going to do in the opening session or opening segment or in the pre-activity segment. What are you going to do in the whilst activity segment? What are you going to do in the post-activity segment? What are you going to do in between the segment? What are you going to do for the warming up activity? What are you going to do, for example, to improve their motivations? Yeah. Do you have, for example, yeah, a warm-up activity? Yeah. Do you have, for example, an icebreaker activity? Yeah. A good teacher, an effective teacher, usually have the systematic teaching and learning. I have to tell you a story about myself. I had the experience of teaching in Australia for 4 years. Yeah. I used to teach in primary school in Australia while I was doing my PhD. And the requirement in the school that I have to make just a one-page lesson plan. But at the end of the page, yeah, I also always have reserve activity. So I have a very brief lesson plan, but not bad, but the brief lesson plan give me an opportunity to do improvisation in the classroom. So I do a lot of improvisation in the classroom. And then in my lesson plan, at the end of my lesson plan, I have reserve activity, the activity that I'm going to use, yeah, in unexpected situations. I have a reserve activities, yeah. For example, I plan to do A, yeah, and then B, and then C, yeah, in the segment. But for some conditions, unexpected things happen. For example, I couldn't do C because B is not achieved. Then I have to do a reserve activity. Or maybe, yeah, when I plan to do A for 10 minutes, student can do it in 5 minutes. And then I have to have a reserve activities. Of course, I have to use my improvisations during the teaching. So in that case, the teaching and learning going very alive. The classroom is very alive. And what I observed so far in our school, yeah, there is a great change now, but before, the lesson plans going like 15 pages. Yeah, previously, the lesson plan going 15 pages. And I said, oh my God, yeah, what can we do? Because it is not possible when we teach inside of a classroom, we can follow the lesson plan very rigidly from line to line. It is not possible to do that. For that reason, we just put the main point and then we do the improvisation according to the situations. And that's what is done in Indonesia nowadays, that the lesson plan should be in one page, but it's not very definite. I'm not sure what happened. It's not very definite that way. And there is a big variation with the lesson plan nowadays. But I think as far as you understand what effective teaching is, the lesson plan is not necessarily to be long. Yeah, it's not necessarily to be long. Yeah, as long as you know exactly what to do. And then, yeah, systematic teaching and learning means that first I'm going to do this. Yeah. Second, this. How do you do it? You know it. Yeah. In the previous lesson plan, yeah, what is not very usual for Western schools. I'm not saying Western school is always good, but some points they are good. Yeah, to some points they are good. So, for example, in the lesson plan, method. And you have to put, yeah, you have to write the method that you are going to use. And then after that, when you teach, do you really use the method? No. Yeah, not necessarily, because I observed so many students, so many teachers doing the teaching. They just put that because the lesson plan require that. Why you don't need to put that? Because not necessarily to be rigid. You can put that. No, it doesn't mean that you don't need to put it. Put it with the, with the possibility to improvise. Jadi, yeah, there is a chance for you to do the improvisations. Okay, recognize and use student prior knowledge and experience. So don't become an alien in the classroom. What I mean by alien, suddenly you come with a new things, and then you do not, relate what you teach with the real world. You don't relate that with what the student already know. Yeah, you are not an alien. You are there to facilitate intellectual development. You are there to facilitate personal development, and you are there to facilitate the social development. You are facilitating the students. So you have to connect their prior knowledge with the new things. Yeah. And you probably know already from your S1 degree, when you do the teaching practice, there is a there is a point in the assessment rubric in which there is, a statement that there is a connection between the teaching and the real life. Yeah. And the prior knowledge. It is very important. And then equip students for the life in a broader sense. Yeah. So you as a teacher will have the intuitions, will have the intuitions to do meaningful learning by adding up something that is connected and also needed, needed in real life. For example, I give you an example. For example, you teach descriptive facts. And usually from my observation, teachers love to, provide the student with pictures, and then they need to describe the picture. Yeah. So the picture of the celebrity, the picture of the, of the politician, maybe, yeah, the picture of, that the teacher assumed that the student would know, yeah. And then they have to look at a picture and then describe. That's okay in a way that they learn about that topic, but you don't add up, you don't add up to that activity the material for life in the broadest sense. Yeah, for the life in the broadest sense. So the activity, for example, you can say, for example, give us situations like, well, you take a walk one day in a mall with your little sister or your little niece. And then because you were busy window shopping, you lost your little niece. Now, write a description of your niece, give it to the human relation officer of the mall so that she can announce. So in that case, of course, you have to use your feeling to make the description. What is meant using the feeling? Of course, you want the niece to be found, and then you will not only saying the girl is tall, but you have to say the girl is around 150 centimeters tall. See, blah blah blah. So you really think about the real life, and then you make the description as clear as possible, yeah, as communicative as possible, so that you actually add up, yeah, adding up the value of life in the broader sense. Or maybe you can say, for example, well, yeah, think about an imaginary bedroom that you dream to have. Yeah, imagine the kind of bedroom that you really want to have. It is an imaginary room, and then they can describe something, and they can use their critical thinking also and creative language use. Okay, so effective teaching is that way, and this is the stepping stone for us to go on with this one, yeah. So we need to be able to engage students. So when we use effective teaching, you don't need to push the student to engage. We don't need to push them to engage because they automatically, spontaneously will engage actively. And when they engage, it means that they have the general ability and critical thinking. So when they suddenly, spontaneously raise their hand and want to participate or want to respond or want to give their ideas, it means that you are successful in motivating them to think. Yeah, you make them think. And also, when they engage, it means that they have the ability to transfer the skills. Yeah, the communication skills, the personal, maybe also the speaking skills, the communication skills, and so forth, the interpersonal communication skill. Yeah, they show that. And then student level of cognitive development. It means that when the student engage, the student follow what you explain, what you teach, what you facilitate, so that there is something developing. So there is the level of cognitive development when they participate. And then when they participate, that's also an indication that they have self-esteem. And then they have the ethical development. It means that ethical development means that when someone asks question, they have to show that they are responsive. Yeah. When they are required to speak, it means that they know the ethic that they have to participate. And then after that, students who engage also have the level of satisfaction with their course. It means that they enjoy the course. When they participate spontaneously, it means that they enjoy. Yeah, they enjoy the course so well. So it's one of the indication that you've been successful teacher. And also when they engage, it means that they have developed their social capital. Yeah, social capital is an ability to make other people listen, to make other people understand, to make other people listen to you. So that's also the social capital. It's needed whenever they are in the social life. And students' academic performance, this is also something which is, when they engage, it means that they have they showcase their academic performance because the topic is academic and they want to participate academically, then they show their academic performance. And then level of student retention. So level of student retention is especially important in higher educations or in non-formal education, non-formal educations. Because if you have an English course, of course, you need to have student retention. What is student retention? Student retention is student willingness and motivation to be still there. Do not want to quit. Yeah, do not want to end the enrollment. It is very important to have the student retention whenever you have an English course. Yeah, when you also you teach in a college for primary school, junior high school, senior high school. This is also important to keep your students' motivations so that they are happy to be in your classroom. That's because you do effective teaching. And when you do effective teaching, they really want to spontaneously engage in your classroom. Yeah. Okay, so far, do you have any questions?
I want to ask a question. Can
Of
I?
course, yes, of course, Mr. Nova. You can.
Yeah, I'm really interested on your presentation, so that's why I keep engaging in this, and I try to, think it in my mind. And now I have some questions for you, Mrs. siapa ya tadi?
Yeah, no
Mrs.
matter.
Putu.
You don't need to. Yeah. Okay.
Mrs. Putu. Yeah. Okay. That effective teaching is, research-based. It means that we should learn from our surrounding. For instance, we listen to other people's presentation, like what we are doing now. We are listening to your presentations, and then we can also share knowledge with people from other countries and many more. So based on your opinion, what is the main challenge for the teacher at the 21st century? Because there will be some challenges that we will face. So I'd like to repeat my question. What is the main challenge for the teacher at the 21st century? That's my first question. And then the second one, you told us that you had experienced teaching in Australia when you took your PhD, right? And my question is, how do you compare the education there? I mean, in Australia and also in Indonesia. I mean, which one is better? That's my questions. Thank you very much, Mrs. Putu.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nova. Thank you for your spontaneous, question and engagement. Yeah, this is what an example of engagement, and I'm happy to know that you engage very well. The first question: what are the challenges faced by the teacher in the 21st century in terms of teaching, which is research-based? Effective teaching is research-based. Well, this is really, I have to return this to you as a person, as a professional person. Why? Because one of the characteristics of professionalism, one of the characteristics of the professionalism is that willing to do continuous learning. That's first of all, willing to do continuous learning. And then the second one, have network. Ya, kemudian yang ketiga, the third one, when you are professionals, you are willing to disseminate your experience. So you are willing to disseminate your experience. So have a feeling that you have to disseminate, because when you do something new and then you observe that's really new, and then you think that it will work in other school, then you share that. At least in MGMP, for example, So your willingness to share is very important. And how can you do that? How can you have a material to be shared? How can you have the material to be disseminated? By doing reflection. So this is really connected to reflections. Reflection and classroom-based research are inseparable. If you do classroom-based research, you take a note on everything and you plan it, and then you have an article to disseminate. But can you disseminate an article based on your teaching only without a classroom-based, formal classroom-based research? Yes, you can. Many of my publications based on my reflection, based on my classroom-based action research, which is not formal. So, for example, I observe, for example, I teach one particular course, which is a content course, and it is not avoidable for teaching that I use a lot of lecturing like this. And I feel that my student gets tired of listening to me all the time. And then I have to think about what can I do so that the student involved in some ways. And then finally, I create an activity which is called lecturing committee strategy. So a lecturing committee strategy. When I give lecture, I involve students to be my team. So every week, there is one group to become my team for teaching. Yeah, and then I take a note. And then after that, I publish a paper. So you can see in my Google Scholar, you can find one of the article on lecturing committee. So in that case, I disseminate through a publication. And it is very important for you, not because you are a student, yeah, it is also very important for you as a teacher to disseminate. And you will have a high credit for your career whenever you can publish something like that. And what are the challenges to do that? It's really willingness. And the challenge are you probably many teachers are too busy to think about other things instead of, you know, doing this. And I think it's very appropriate for busy teacher, just do a research based on reflections. But you have to use your critical thinking when you do an observation inside of your classroom to see what's the weaknesses. And then after that, do a research, read a lot about, you know, article or other people experience or who have the same problem with you. And then you probably learn about the strategy and use that strategy, take a note, and then you can publish in the form of an article. So the challenge is just personal reasons. Yeah, the challenge is personal reasons. I don't see any challenge from the system because reflection or the classroom action research is teachers' willingness, and then it's going hand in hand with everyday teaching. It's go hand in hand with everyday teaching. There is no extra time, you know, you don't need extra time commitment, but it's in your teaching. So this is, the challenge is only about commitment, willingness, you know, that's the challenge. I didn't see any other challenges, your willingness, yeah. And then what is the comparison between Australian school system and Indonesian? Well, there are so many, but one things that I want to, I don't want to explain everything. It will take me the whole day to explain that. But just one thing, yeah. One thing, students are not ranked. They are not compared with other students. Students are compared to himself or herself. How can it be done? It is believed that every individual unique. Every individual have their own interest. Every individual student have their own multiple intelligence. Yeah. So it is not fair to compare one student with the other. So they will compete to themselves because they have like a portfolio. Yeah, they have a portfolio in which they will learn about what they don't understand, what they don't know, what they don't like, what they enjoy doing. So at the end of the year, school year, yeah, this is for junior high school, yeah, because junior and senior, because primary and junior is like, you know, grade 1 until grade 9 in one school. So for the students, they will do a presentation in front of their parents and their friends, their teacher, and they will say, they do a presentation, this year, I've learned about this and that and that. I think, yeah, my favorite is this because I want to be an engineer in the future. I love math, for example. I learn a lot. I learn about this and that and this and that in this semester. I'm not doing quite well in this subject because, so that's a reflection. Yeah, we don't have that. Yeah, we don't have that. We don't have that. And we just start to have the qualitative report. Yeah, just beginning to have qualitative report, because there it's all about qualitative report. And many teachers still learning about how to make a qualitative report in the student report, because yeah, maybe because it's not the culture. Yeah, it's not yet the culture. I think that's the main difference. There are so many differences. I cannot say that one is better than the other. Yeah, each of them are unique. Yeah, each of them are unique. Indonesian students are obedient. Indonesian students listen to the teacher, listen to the parents. Yeah, not only listen, they follow what the teachers say and they follow what the parents say. They respect. But in Australia, for example, when I came into the classroom, they raised their hand because there is a rule there. The rule is whenever you want to speak, raise your hand. Speak only when the teacher point at you, give you the opportunity to speak. So when I came into the classroom, some students already raised their hand. I haven't started talking about anything. I didn't even started, speaking anything. They raised their hand. And then when I say, for example, his name is Ben, and I said, yes, Ben. And then he said, do we do something funny? Are we doing something fun today? So they can't wait. Are we doing something fun today? So they just want to know that. And Indonesian students will not do that. Never. Okay. And then they don't call me Miss or Ma'am, yeah. They call me by names. Jadi it's okay. That's the culture. But here, student will not call the teacher's name by name. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So that's the difference. I don't say that it's one. From our perspective, that's bad. Yeah. But from the Australian perspective, it is not bad. It's normal. So I cannot say one is better than the other. Yeah, that's probably answer your question, Mr. Nova. Yeah, thank you for the questions. I'm going to continue. There will be time for you to ask questions later on. I'm going to go on with this, yeah? How to teach is influenced by. So most of reflective teaching is to do with our teaching inside of the classroom. So most of reflective teaching is to do with how we teach. Yeah. So it is important to know that how we teach, or the strategy that we use inside of the classroom, will very much influenced by who do we teach. Is it kindy? Is it primary school? Grade 1, 2, 3? Is it senior high school? Yeah. Where do we teach? Do we teach in international school? Do we teach in a school in the rural area? Or is it in the isolated area? Yeah, for example. Then it is very important to know this, and then you have to adapt your teaching to this. So how can the who, what, where influence our teaching? I don't think we have time for discussion on this, but I'm very sure you get the point. Yeah, you get my point that who we teach, yeah, their age, their background knowledge, yeah, and the level of language development, because we are an English teacher, the level of English language development, yeah, And then what do we teach? Do we teach something difficult? Do we teach something, a concept that is not in our own culture? Are we teaching about a concept of language that is very different from their first language? That's also will determine our strategy for teaching. And where do we teach? Are we, yeah, the same. Once again, I just want to repeat, are we teaching in an urban area, rural area? Are we teaching in a you know, mid class society or upper class? Yeah. So that's really will determine, are we teaching in the international school? That's really determine our strategy for teaching. So now we go on to then, if we are a reflective teacher, what do we need to do then? So that we can have data. What do we do? First, do an investigation. Have the classroom investigation procedure. So, sorry, what is meant by, sorry, I have to get some water. So, what is meant by investigation procedures? Well, you have to have a plan, yeah? For example, you plan to know how much the student understand with the topic, a difficult topic, for example, or a particular approach that you're going to implement in the classroom. Then you have the investigation procedures. So whether you start with a chit chat at the beginning, yeah, before you start the class, you have a chit chat with the student or informal communication with them, so that you have a grasp, yeah, about what they already know. And then after that, you, for example, start with a pre-activity, and then you also investigate. And then after that, at the end, how much they already, how much change is there? So that's what is investigation procedures. In that case, you will, at the end, you will have, you know, some, I have to say, some conclusion about what the result of your investigations. And then you have a teaching journals. Yeah, teaching journals in Indonesia is not specifically about reflection, not specifically about reflections, but it's more likely to the, you know, the level of or the coverage of the materials. Usually, yeah, in the journal you only take a note on the coverage up to which that you teach this, you know, in this lesson, for example. So whenever the following week you come teach, other teacher, there is a substitute teacher, they know where to start. Usually that, the journals, but not really a reflective journal that is very important for you to you know, to make a decision about what to do. And then lesson report. A lesson report is a report about every lesson. So in lesson report, you, for example, say student A, you know, doing well, and then student B, blah, 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 and then the material is this, and then the activity has been up to this, and then overall, what the students already do, for example, yeah. So if you have the teaching journals and you understand reflective teaching, you will add information also in the lesson report. Usually lesson report is like what I said before, but if you understand that you need to do reflection, you need 1 point in your report for a reflections. And then surveys and questionnaire, it's very common to do this. But usually in the university, we do it at the end of the semester. And then the student can respond to a questionnaire anonymously But usually they are very limited question. It's very close answer. So probably if you want to do a better reflection, you have to plan your questionnaire better. And then audio and video recording, when you teach, you put your video on, yeah, and then after that you replay, and you can learn your weaknesses and strength. And then observation is whenever you want to see the student engagement, when you to see the effect of your facilitation on student motivation, for example. And then action research, this is the highlighted one. Why I highlight this? Because this is the important part for you as a teacher or as a magister students, that you can do this for a publication. So if you are a teacher now and you are semester 2, right? Are you in? Yeah, you are in the second semester, and then you want to have a publication as the requirement for your thesis later on. You can start right away by doing an action research in your classroom, and this is the action research. Yeah, action research start with reflections. See how important reflection is. So you do a reflection first of all. What's going on in your classroom? And then plan the lesson. And then after that, implement the plan, observe, and then take a note, and then do a reflection again. After the reflection, you plan again. And then after that, you implement, observe, and then reflect. So that's going in a viral, yeah, in a cyclic way. So this is like it's cyclic. It is a cycle. In a cyclic way, you have the cycles, and then it's a viral, development. So if you do this, I'm sure, you are not only producing something important to disseminate, but also you are going to have effective teaching. You are going to have effective teaching if you are very critical about your own teaching. Yeah, because when we talk about reflective teaching is critical thinking about own teaching. So this is a critical thinking about own teaching. That's what a reflective teaching is. Now, what actually involves, when you do reflective teaching? First, teachers' belief, your belief. So your belief will determine how much reflection that you will make. For example, if you believe that in teaching English, the most important thing is grammar, then you teach with the focus on grammar, or you teach with the focus on accuracy. And when you do a reflection, you use that as the standard to reflect how accurate my student can speak, how accurate my student can write, what are the grammatical problems that they face. So that's really your belief will be the basis for you to do the reflections. But if you think that an effective teaching, the success, your teaching success indicator is when the student confident in teaching, then you can put that as a belief. But here in public schools, we have the standard competency, minimal, So what do you call that? Anyone can tell me what the standard? What the standard of success in the classroom? Every school different. Standar pencapaian minimal itu, yes? Anyone? Yeah. Jadi in a school they have a different standard, but you use that as a standard when you do the reflective teaching or the classroom action research. Jadi what do you call that? Jadi nilai minimalnya itu, what do you call that?
KKM.
Ya, KKM.
Kriteria ketuntasan minim.
Oh yes, that's it. I forgot that. Yeah, KKM. If you want to do a classroom-based action research, use that. So you have the standard already. So not necessarily the belief, but the belief is very much have an influence to your reflective teaching, and also the goals and attitude and styles. Yeah, I don't want to explain this. And then after you do the reflective teaching, I mean, after you do the reflection at the end of your teaching, then you make a plan. Yeah, so you have the decision to make in the planning. And then after that, decision in the interactions, and then also decision in the evaluative decisions. So it is very important for you to have the reflection, because that will be once again the vehicle for you to improve student learning. Yeah. If you are an instructor or a teacher who is reflective, you will ask questions. Yeah. The difference between teacher as a job and teacher as profession is this. If you consider teacher is a job, it means that as long as you've done your work, that's the end, that's finished. But if you think that your as a teacher is a profession, then you have to have a reflection at the end. So please ask yourself, after you finish teaching, do you have a lot of questions in your mind? If you have a lot of questions in your mind, it means that you are reflective, that you are a professional teacher. So for example, you have the question, did I do well in my classroom? Did I make my student understand? Did the student feel happy in my classroom? Yeah. Did the student, for example, did the student wait for my other class, for example? Yeah. So in structure reflective question, for example, how can I collect information about my own teaching? This is the first questions. Yeah. How do I know? How do I know how well I can do it in my classroom? How can I collect information about my own teaching? Yeah, that's the well, that's the example of a questions. What are my beliefs about teaching and learning? Yeah, and how this belief, for example, influence my teaching. And then after that, where do this belief come from? What kind of instructor am I? What kind of teacher am I? What belief do my students hold about learning and teaching? How do this belief influence their approach to learning? These are the questions I got from a reference. Yeah, it's from the book. But I want you now, we are going to do a discussion with this. Let's do a discussion. Yeah. What other questions? Yeah. What other reflective questions do you think are important to ask about teaching? Yeah, let's do this discussion, please. Maybe I have to stop sharing so that I can see everybody, and then I come back to this because the question is very clear. What other reflective questions do you think are important to ask about teaching, about your teaching? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. Anyone? Anyone want to say something? What other questions? As a reflective teacher, what question do you usually have in mind?
May I, ma'am?
Yes, of course. This is, wait, I can see you. Yes,
Ratna, ma'am.
Ibu Ratna. Yes, please.
Okay. Maybe the question is, is there any change of students' behavior after we teach about some material, some material?
Okay. Okay, is there any change of behavior of my student after I teach them? Okay. Thank you, that's very good. Any others? Anyone?
Ma'am.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Do I need more time in the teaching learning process next time? Thank you.
Do I need more time for our next? How can you make more time whenever the schedule is so tight? What do you mean? Oh, do I need to allocate more time for the
Yes,
practice, for
but more
example?
time.
Yeah. Do I need to allocate more time for the student to participate, for example? Yes. Yeah, good. Anyone else?
May I, ma'am?
Yes, silakan.
My question will be, did the students find the use of the lesson in real life? I mean, can the teacher relate the lesson with the real life so that they can use the lesson in their real life? Oh, and did the students enjoy the study with the teacher?
Okay, you can use, did my student enjoy my class? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did my student enjoy my class? But the first one is doubtful. The first one, what was the first one?
Did the teacher relate the lesson to the real life so that
So this is not about you. You are talking about other teacher. Did the teacher relate the lesson to the real life? Because when you do reflection, it's a question about yourself. Did I relate? So if you say, did I relate the lesson with the real life? Yeah, that's a reflection. So the reflection is to go back to you. You ask yourself a question.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Can I make a confirmation, Bu Artini?
Of course you can.
Once I saw a lesson plan, it is, if I'm not mistaken, I was in an upgrading course for teachers of madrasah in Jakarta. Instructor, the instructor gave us an example of lesson plan from a foreign country. It is only one page, and at the end of the lesson plan, there is a column written in retrospect. In retrospect, I think in retrospect is the same with reflection. Am I right?
Sorry, what did you say? What does it say in the last column?
In retrospect. In retrospect.
Okay, yes. Yes. Exactly. That's a reflection. Yeah, exactly. So from country to country, they have their own style for the lesson planning. Yeah. As I said before, I didn't mention about the reflection. There is a column for reflection in the Australian lesson plan. But before I said about the reserve activity, that's only for the activity. In the lesson plan, there are activity, segment activity, reserve activity. And after that, it's over page, over page. It's not under that. Over page, there is the whole page for the reflections. Okay. So yeah, it's not limited only in one column, but it could be the whole page. Yeah, okay. It's really, thank you. That's a very good question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone want to give me the other examples for being reflective? What other question would you ask yourself? Did the student enjoy my lessons? Yeah, that's an example. Yeah, and then also, did my student change the behavior after I teach them? Yeah, that's also reflections. Yeah, and a few other reflections. Okay, there are some here in the chat. Question that makes student look back over after the learn. Am I putting enough effort into my students? Yeah, this is from Miss or Mrs. Sugiarni. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. Yes.
No worries.
I'm
Yeah,
Mrs.
this is a good question. Can you say it to everyone?
Yes, Mrs. I'm Mrs. And the example for question reflection is that, am I putting enough effort into my students? That is the example for me.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
what is the reflection question? Is the question that make student look over back into the learning process, like that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ibu Sugiarni. You said that reflective question is question that makes student look back over after they learn. Yeah, did you say that? Yeah. Reflective teaching, a reflection is for the teacher to look back at their teaching, not for the student to look at their.
Okay.
Yeah, this is reflection is only. We are talking about. Yeah, of course, students also do a reflection. That's their own style, their own strategy. But for us as a teacher, yeah, when we talk about reflective teaching, it means it applies to the teacher only. So the
Okay.
teacher, yes, you are right to use the word look back. Yes, you're right. Look back, but look back at the teacher's own teaching and see
Okay.
strength and weaknesses. Yeah. Now, there are a number of components that the teacher do reflect. For example, did I do enough effort in my teaching? Yeah. When you do questions like that, then it's a reflection for you to improve yourself. Yeah. To improve yourself. But if you say like this, did I use appropriate strategy? Yeah. For teaching, for teaching the topic? Yeah. Did I use appropriate strategy? If you say, no, I don't think so. Why? Why it's not appropriate? I did a lot of talking. So that's a dialogue with you. Yeah, that's a reflection. Yeah, that's a reflection. So you will improve your own teaching with the improvement version of your strategy. So in that case, you can report. Yeah, you can report as a research. Ya, jadi begini, saya pakai bahasa Indonesia. Kalau pertanyaannya tentang diri sendiri, etos kerja pribadi, itu hanya untuk diri sendiri. Ya, it's not going to be part of your disseminations. But if you talk about the strategy, for example, ya, misalnya ngajar descriptive text, misalnya, lalu menggunakan gambar, lalu muridnya hanya menulis berdasarkan gambar, tapi tidak bisa improvisasi dengan creative language use. Bahkan cenderung siswa itu menggunakan recycle words. Yeah. What I mean by recycle words, I give you an example what is not good in teaching. Say, for example, you teach descriptive text, and then you give example, yeah, describing a person, and then you give example, yeah. This is my mother. My mother is beautiful. She has long hair. She has beautiful eyes. She's slim and tall. Yeah. She has fair complexion. She has sharp nose, and and so forth. And then the student tend to repeat what you say when you give the task for describing a person with a picture. And then they will start with this. This is, for example, so this is the president of Indonesia. He's tall. So not really using creative language. So there is no additional apa namanya, burden of life language that is used. Yeah. So in that case, for example, you do a reflection. Wow, the student repeat the example. In other words, the student recycle the word in the example. So I need to do something. I need to do something else so that they can learn new language by themselves. And then you change your strategy, yeah, in teaching. And then after that, you observe, and then you can use this as the material for dissemination. So you can, for example, have a dissemination of teaching descriptive text using for example, imaginary, say for example, imaginary drama script, for example. Ya, anggaplah seperti itu. So you can have that, improving student ability to speak using, nah itu adalah PTK. And then you can write down, you can develop that into an article. So you can see, you can reflect on your own personal values, like, did I do a lot of effort? Did I do enough adequate effort? Yeah, then that's for you. Yeah, for you, for your personal development. But if you say, did I use appropriate strategy for teaching descriptive text this morning? Not quite. Why? Because I observed my student didn't do well. They use recycled word, yeah, from the example. And also they wrote very short, only a few sentences. Yeah, I have to do something to make them more creative with the language. And then that's the reflective for the sake of the quality improvement. And yang disebut dengan apa namanya CAR itu adalah Classroom Action Research. Yang disebut dengan PTK itu adalah kualitas. Ada hubungannya dengan kualitas pembelajaran. Jadi lebih ke strategi, media gitu dia. Tetapi reflektif untuk personal, it's also very important so that improve your personal values. Okay, I hope you understand what I mean. We are going to continue. I still have so many slides, but we are going to finish soon. We are going to finish anyway. We still have 2 minutes. I'm going to share screen. Just one more. One more. I have to go to this conclusion, yeah, instead of yeah. Actually, we come to this conclusion. Actually, this is for discussion, but I have to answer myself. So, what is reflection? Reflection is the critical, yeah, evaluation of the teacher about their own teaching. Yeah, their own teaching. So not about other people teaching, but own teaching. Not about the student, but student are the subject in the classroom. But here, what is reflection is the critical evaluation, critical judgment, yeah, critical evaluation of a teacher about his or her own teaching. Why do I need to reflect? Why do you need to reflect? Because you need to do reflection to understand the strengths and weaknesses of your teaching, to improve the weaknesses, and then to become an effective teacher. And when you are effective teacher, of course, there will be so many things that going on, including that you will improve the engagement and everything. How do I reflect? How do I reflect? I do observation. I do research on my own classroom. Research on your own classroom. and then take notes on what need to be developed, what need to be improved, what's the problem, what's the real problem. So how do I reflect? Start with recognizing the problem. And then after that, yeah, you have to do research. What is meant by research? You read, you listen to other people experience, yeah, or maybe you also, yeah, search from the internet, different strategies, and then you do it, and then after that you plan, after that you implement, and then reflect, and then replan. That's how you reflect, yeah. So the conclusion is, a teacher is challenged to be reflective in order to establish effective teaching. We talk about that. And we are challenged to be reflective so that we can be sensitive about issues that affect learning or problem. So that very sensitive to know about problem inside of the classroom. And then need to be reflective to be professional, because professional teacher always want to improve the quality of their teaching. And then why do we need to reflect? To contribute to the quality of education in a broader sense. Okay, so this is the end. And then I have one quotation here, is that education is, sorry, lalu I didn't check this because I just edit this just now, and I was engaged in too many things, and I had time to, you know, just edit what I have. Jadi saya ngeditnya ini baru aja ya dari beberapa PowerPoint yang saya miliki. Well, education is the passport to the future. The passport for the future. You know that, yeah? And then what then? What's then? Yeah, education is the passport for the future, for tomorrow belong to those who prepare for it today. Yeah, tomorrow belong to those, belong to you, if you prepare it for it now. So that's the quotations, and I think I have to say that this is the end. We don't have too much time for discussion. I'm sorry for that, because of the time, and then there are so many things that I want to include in reflective teaching. And I hope you can learn something. I know that it's probably not too much of a new things to learn. You already have so much, you know, in your background knowledge, but I hope that at least this will, sorry, I have to stop, sorry. Okay, at least that we have, I mean, I have something already. Sorry, my mind is not with you. I have another things to do. Well, I hope that you learned something from this. And if it is not something new for you, at least it refreshes your memory about this, or refresh your experience about this. And I hope it's, you know, everybody will be motivated to do something inside of the classroom for disseminations. Yeah, do something so that you have something to write. Yeah, if, for example, you have some specific problem inside of the classroom, don't stop by understanding the problem, but continue with doing something to solve the problem, because one of the characteristics of innovative teacher is that the teacher is a problem solver. Okay, so this is the end, everyone. Can I have everybody on the screen for a photo taking?
Ibu, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Ibu Rini, you are there. You are there to take photo for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
My student already.
Are you done with your
examination?
I mean, other things? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done. And actually,
Okay.
it will last for 3 days until the next weekend on Tuesday.
I know it's going. Yeah, I know what it is like. You know.
Yeah.
what it is like. It's so boring.
Yeah, but it must be
It's so
done.
boring. You can't escape, yeah, in any way. You have to do it. No choice.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I hope that we have enough photo for for the administration things. Do
Yeah.
you have that, Ibu Rini? Yeah, I don't take any photo. So
Okay.
please share some photo with us.
I did.
Okay, everyone.
Let me have such before closing statement from you, ya Bu. I will.
I did have a closing statement. Okay, then.
Ibu, first of all, I would like to thank you for having the class with us as we call it MBKM, as we call it collaborative teaching, and I think it is very useful for students to get sharing knowledge from here, from there, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see from the class given by or delivered by Ibu Sri and Pak Suarcaya, I hope that it also provides insights for students, enlightenment, because we are all teachers, and as you know that wherever the teacher is, the main job is to deliver new knowledge, or I mean sharing this new insights, because at least in bahasa like this, ternyata tugas guru itu dari manapun sama, bahwa mengajar itu selain juga transferring knowledge, tapi juga memberikan fasilitas untuk melakukan sesuatu. Nah, dan setelah mengetahui bahwa Undiksa juga memberikan motivasi bahwa kita itu akademisi, kita juga harus menulis, kita harus melakukan penelitian, menemukan topik itu ya Ibu ya. Jadi bekal dari reflective teaching ataupun mengajar itu bisa menjadi, karena mereka adalah mahasiswa, mereka bisa memilih itu menjadi topik tesis mereka.
Ya.
Iya. Dan saya berharap semoga ini tidak hanya di saat ini saja, di semester ini, semoga semester depan kita masih bisa jalan lagi. Kebetulan ini akhir semester, tinggal beberapa tatap muka. Semoga kita bisa plan seperti itu di next semester, Ibu.
Yeah, hope so too.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you today with us. And I do apologize for inconveniences. And we have already taken the photograph, and I hope that we can end the session because it's already 10 minutes past 4.
Yeah. Sorry for the delay. Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Rini. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation. Sorry that not everybody can participate. I know everybody want to participate, want to engage, but we don't have much time. But as Bu Rini said, that I hope that it is not really, the only opportunity for us to meet. I hope we meet again next semester. So the very best of luck, best of luck with your study. And I hope everybody can, be successful in this program. Okay, everyone. So this is the end. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ibu Artini. It's very useful for all of us, and you inspire me and motivates me. Thank you so much for this occasion.
Thank you for a beautiful word from you, Ibu Ratna. Thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye-bye for now. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a lovely Saturday afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy weekend, ma'am.